ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7. Canto 2 is entitled Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations. Text 23, describing the incarnation of Lord Rama. Asmat prasada sumukha kalaya kalesha ikshvaku vamsha avatirya guru nideshe tishtan vanam sa daita anuja avivesha yasmin viruddhya dashakandhara artim archa. I'll read the verse for myself. Asmat prasad sumukha kalaya kalesha ikshvaku vamsha avatirya guru videshe Tishthanvanam sadaitanya avivesha yasmin viruddhya dashakandhara artimarcha. Go from Asman, unto us, beginning from Brahma, down to the insignificant ant. Prasada, causeless mercy. Sumukha, so inclined. Kalaya, with his plenary extensions. Kaleshaha, the Lord of all potencies. Ikshvaku, Maharaj Ikshvaku, in the dynasty of the sun. Vamshe, family. Avatirya, by descending in. Guroho, of the father or spiritual master. Nideshe, under the order of. Tishtan, being situated in. Vanam, in the forest. Sadaita anuja, along with his wife and younger brother. Avivesha, entered. Yasmin, unto whom. Viruddhya, being rebellious. Dashakandharaha, Ravana, who had 10 heads. Artim, great distress. Archa, achieved. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Due to His causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with His plenary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ikshvaku as the Lord of his internal potency Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dasharatha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful, with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Please repeat the translation. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his plenary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ikshvaku as the Lord of his internal potency, Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dasharatha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful, with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his brothers, namely Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrugna, are his plenary expansions. All four brothers are Vishnu Tattva and were never ordinary human beings. There are many unscrupulous and ignorant commentators on Ramayana who present the younger brothers of Lord Ramachandra as ordinary living entities. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the most authentic scripture on the science of Godhead, it is clearly stated that his brothers were his plenary expansions. Originally, Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Vasudeva, Lakshmana is the incarnation of Sankarshana, Bharata is the incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrugna is the incarnation of Aniruddha, expansions of the personality of God. Lakshmi ji, Sita, is the internal potency of the Lord and is neither an ordinary woman nor the external potency incarnation of Durga. Durga is the external potency of the Lord and she is associated with Lord Shiva. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.7, the Lord appears when there are discrepancies in the discharge of factual religion. Lord Ramachandra also appeared under the same circumstances, accompanied by his brothers who are expansions of the Lord's internal potency, and by Lakshmi ji, Sita Devi. Lord Ramachandra was ordered by his father, Maharaj Dasharatha, to leave home for the forest under awkward circumstances. And the Lord, as the ideal son of his father, carried out the order even on the occasion of his being declared the king of Ayodhya. One of his younger brothers, Lakshman ji, desired to go with him. And so also his eternal wife, Sita ji, desired to go with him. The Lord agreed to both of them, and altogether they entered the Dandakaranya forest to live there for 14 years. During their stay in the forest, there was some quarrel between Ramachandra and Ravana, and the latter, is Ravana, kidnapped the Lord's wife, Sita. The quarrel ended in the vanquishing of the greatly powerful Ravana along with all his kingdom and family. Sita is Lakshmi ji, or the goddess of fortune, but she is never to be enjoyed by any living being. She is meant for being worshipped by the living being along with her husband, Sri Ramachandra. A materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth, but on the contrary, he wants to snatch Sita Devi from the custody of Rama and thus incurs great miseries. The materialists who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from the Ramayana that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is the policy of Ravana. Ravana was very advanced materially, so much so that he turned his kingdom Lanka into pure gold or full material wealth. But because he did not recognize the supremacy of Lord Ramachandra and defied him by stealing his wife, Sita, Ravana was killed and all his opulence and power were destroyed. Lord Ramachandra is a full incarnation with 6 opulences in full, and he is therefore mentioned in this verse as Kaleshaha, or master of all opulences. Thus ends the Bhakti-Vedanta. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Janashalakaya Tatsyogamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhashyatya Deshatayine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravatta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Lord Brahma is describing the scheduled incarnations to his son Narada, and by describing the different incarnations, he is describing the incarnation of Lord Rama in this particular verse. Here he is telling that the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this world in the form of different incarnations. Avatar, Avatirya. Avatara means literally the Lord who is in the spiritual world comes down to this material world. Now we have to carefully understand that the Lord is always the master of all his energies. This material world is also one of his energies. So he is the master of this material world. So when he comes to this material world, he remains the controller, the master of this material world. He does not become under the control of this material world. So even though he appears like a human being, elsewhere it is described, the Lord appeared in a form of a human being. Naradeva Kumavarnaha. Naradeva. He appeared like a human being. But he is not a human being. He is not under the influence of this material world. He also has another kind of energy, the spiritual energy, of which the spiritual world is made of. That spiritual energy also is under his control. That also is under his control. Now he uses these energies for different purposes. The spiritual energy he employs for his personal purpose, for his own purpose. He enjoys the spiritual potency in the form of his pleasure potency. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabihi. The pleasure potency is expanded as the gopis, as Lakshmi, as Sita, as Radha. That is the pleasure potency, expansion of the Lord for his pleasure, for his enjoyment. And the internal potency is also employed by the Lord for manifesting the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha planets. His own personal abode, the Vaikuntha planets, are made of expansions of the spiritual energy. Even he himself expands by his spiritual potency. He is one, the Supreme Lord is one, but he becomes expands into different forms. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayana, Vishnu. All these forms are expansions of his own spiritual potency. But the difference is, when he expands personally, then those expansions are full of all his powers. The personal expansions are full of his powers. So such personal expansions are called Kaleshaha. Kaleshaha means the master of all opulences, all the powers, the master. He has unlimited opulence and he displays such opulences as required when he expands in his personal form. Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, Vamana, all these are personal expansions. Personal expansions. So he displays his opulence. But when he comes as Krishna, the original form, the original person, Adi Purusha, then he displays not only his opulences, but he also displays his personal internal potency with whom he is enjoying in his original abode. So that is the special form or special incarnation of the Lord as Krishna. So the Brahma Samhita declares, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishthan. Ramadi Murtishu. In the form of Rama and other incarnations or expansions or plenary expansions, Kala. Kala means expansion of the expansion. Niyamena Tishthan. According to a certain schedule, he appears in this world. Nanavataram Akarot. He appears in the form of incarnations. Incarnations means the Lord is coming personally, but he is appearing like a human being, or like an animal, or like a combined form of an animal and human being, Narasimha, or Varaha, like an animal, or Rama, like a human being. But these forms are Kala, Avatar. They are all the Lord coming down, and they are all actually completely powerful personal forms of the Lord. Whereas the form of Sita is the form of the expansion of the pleasure potency of the Lord. Pleasure potency means specifically meant for his enjoyment. In what form the enjoyment? In the form of his consort, in the form of his queen, just like Sita Devi, or Lakshmi, or even Rukmini, or even Radha, the gopis. They are all his consorts, his expansions of his pleasure potency. So the Acharyas have explained to us that his spiritual potency has got many divisions. And one division of spiritual potency is called Hladini potency. Hladini means his pleasure potency. So he enjoys spiritual pleasure. And we are meant to actually enjoy with him in his spiritual potency. But when somebody becomes envious of the Lord and wants to enjoy independently or wants to enjoy separately or wants to enjoy by becoming the master of the internal potency, of the Lord's power or potency, then there is a need for the Lord to create this material world using his external potency. Using his external potency, he creates this material. And this material world actually presents an illusion for the living entity who wants to lord it over, who wants to be independent of the Lord. So he creates this material world using this external potency. But still, in this material world, where everyone under the influence of illusion is forgetful of the Lord comes personally, or he sends his representative. Now when he personally comes, he comes with his full power, full opulences, Kalesha, like Rama. And he displays his power. He displays his power. This power is not ordinary power displayed by any living entity. Because all living entities are part of the Supreme Lord, they also have little power of the Lord. And under different circumstances, the living entities can display that power. And sometimes such power appears to be extraordinary power in relative terms. Just like the Asuras, when they become powerful by some yoga practice or by performing tapasya, they get some power due to the demigods conferring some boons on them. These Asuras, either they practice yoga and get some mystic power and misuse that for disturbing the other living beings, or they perform tapasya like Ravana. He was blessed by Lord Shiva, or Hiranyakashipu was blessed by Lord Brahma, and by that blessing he became extraordinarily powerful. Both Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, all such big demons. And then these demons think now they are unconquerable, invincible. Nobody can do anything against them. Including Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, nobody can do anything against them when they become extraordinarily powerful. Then the Lord, in order to show his mercy upon the living entities, he either personally comes or he can even empower somebody. It's not that the Lord has to personally come to kill these or defeat or vanquish these demons. The Lord can empower somebody. Just like when there was a need to kill some demon in different times, the Lord empowered Durga Devi to kill some demon, Mahishasura. And it became a big disturbance for all the people of this world when the Lord empowered Durga Devi to kill this Mahishasura. Or he empowered sometimes Indra. When Rudrasura was born, there was so much fear spread all over the world because he was such a powerful demon. He was creating disturbance. So the Lord empowered Indra to kill this Rudrasura simply by preparing one Ayudha, Vajrayudha, using the bones of one Rishi. Rudrasura was killed. So it's not that the Lord has to personally come to kill the demons. But he comes still, he incarnates personally also for the sake of his devotees. For the sake of his devotees. The devotees, they come to perform some welfare activity in this world. The devotees come generally to preach the glories of the Lord in this material world, to remind the people about God, to bring about remembrance of the Lord among godless people. Because everybody is generally forgetful of God in this material world. But these devotees are harassed sometimes by the demons. The devotees are harassed by the demons. So such devotees, when they are harassed too much by the demons, the Lord personally comes. And he simultaneously accomplishes three things. Of course, he protects the devotees, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam. He also kills all these harassing demons, the demons. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. He also accomplishes the task of establishing the real religious principles. Because the real religious principles are lost or forgotten by the influence of the illusory energy. The living entity is meant to follow the Vedic directions, follow Dharma. Dharma means the Vedic directions. But due to too much of materialism, they forget or they become overwhelmed by some material advancement, or they neglect to follow Dharmasya Glani, the real religious principles, or they manufacture their own system of religion. So, different circumstances, the religious principles are lost. Dharmasya Glani. And the Lord comes primarily for his devotees, but he also establishes the religious principles. So Lord Ramachandra is a very unique incarnation that he came for the sake of his devotees. Which devotees? The demigods, headed by Brahma. When this Ravana became too much mischievous, then the demigods prayed to the Lord that this Ravana has become too much powerful and we are unable to do anything. He is creating so much of nuisance. So the Lord incarnated as Rama for the sake of his devotees. And he simultaneously established the real religious principles by himself taking the role of a king. Taking the role of a king. He ruled this earth planet perfectly. He perfectly ruled this earth planet. He ruled for some thousands of years. In the Ramayana it is mentioned, some 24,000 years he ruled. And as a part of his Leela, Ram Leela, what is Ram Leela? The wonderful activities, extraordinary activities of the Lord in his incarnation as Rama. It is not that he just comes, rules nicely and goes away. No. He performs some extraordinary activities which are actually for his pleasure. So for his pleasure, he entered the forest under the plea of following his father's order. Under the order of his father, he entered the forest for 14 years. What is this 14 years? People say, oh, he went to the forest for 14 years. He was sent to the forest for 14 years. No, this 14 years is insignificant amount of time. Compared to some thousands of years he ruled, 14 years is very insignificant. But those 14 years, so many wonderful pastimes he performed. See, going to the forest itself is a pastime. Why? Because on the day he was ordered to go to the forest was the day when he was supposed to be coronated as the king of Ayodhya. He was supposed to, the eldest son, of his father, Dasharatha, Maharaj Dasharatha, Dasharatha decided to retire and make Rama his eldest son as the succeeding king. So every preparation was done and there was celebration in Ayodhya that Rama is going to be coronated as the king. But by the arrangement of the internal potency, it is the arrangement of the internal potency of the Lord that one of the queens of Dasharatha, Kaikeyi, she was instigated by her maidservant. She was instigated by her maidservant. Maidservant was one Manthara. This Manthara, she was a faithful maidservant of one of the queens of Dasharatha, Kaikeyi. He had 3 queens. So Dasharatha did not have any children for a long time. So he performed one Putra Kameshti Yajna. He performed one Yajna, desiring to have sons to succeed. And by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, the Lord himself appeared as the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha. The 4 original forms of the Lord, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. These are forms of the Lord in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, the Lord is situated in different forms as Krishna, Balaram, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Narayana. And also, in his form, spiritual form, expansion is Vishnu. As Vishnu form is in the material world. But still, the Lord, in any of his forms, personal forms, he is always transcendental. He is transcendentally situated. So even when he incarnates, these 4 expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, incarnated as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna. So they are the original personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, in the spiritual world. They incarnated as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, as the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha. So when they incarnate, they don't come to this material world. It appears like they are coming into this material world, but they are always situated in the spiritual world. So how the Lord of the spiritual world, be remaining in the spiritual world, also becomes visible in the material world? This is a big mystery. This is a big mystery actually. So to understand this mystery, we have to actually get our spiritual vision. It is described in the Bhagavatam elsewhere that we have lost our spiritual vision, having come in contact with this material nature. So to get back our spiritual vision, we have to perform some spiritual activities. Only then we can see the Lord in his spiritual form. We can understand our own spiritual nature and we can see the Lord in his spiritual form. We can see the Lord as the master of his spiritual potency. In any case, even if you are not able to see him in his spiritual form, he becomes visible when he incarnates. When he comes down, he becomes visible. That is his power. He can make his spiritual form visible to us, to our ordinary eyes. Even though we have a material vision, we can see with this material vision the spiritual form of the Lord when he incarnates. But we should not think, because whatever we generally see with these eyes are all material forms. We should not think the form of the Lord becomes material for the sake of our seeing him. No. He remains in the spiritual form, and that spiritual form becomes visible to our ordinary vision when he incarnates. Not only he comes in the spiritual form, the activities he performs are also spiritual. So these activities are arranged by his Yogamaya potency. He's got different potencies. So Yogamaya potency arranges his pastimes in the spiritual world and even in the material world. So by arrangement of Yogamaya, everything is arranged. That Dasharatha, he will not have children. And then he will perform one yajna. And the Lord will appear as the sons of Dasharatha. The four forms of the Lord in the spiritual world, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, will appear as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna. And the Lord's internal potency, Lakshmiji, in this spiritual world, his internal potency, his pleasure potency is present as Lakshmi, the Vaikuntha Loka. That Lakshmi will appear as Sita, as the daughter of another king, Janaka. And the Lord will marry, Rama will marry Sita in a Swayamvara. That's also extraordinary activity of the Lord. That he will effortlessly break one bow, which was impossible for any of the powerful kings to even lift. You see, this is extraordinary activities of the Lord. This is called Ram Leela. That's why we say Ram Leela, Krishna Leela, Vishnu Leela. Leela, this word is used where it indicates the Lord performs extraordinary activities which are called pastime, which are full of pleasure. Simply by hearing these pastimes, which are in detail recorded in different scriptures. It's like Rama's activities are detailedly recorded in the Ramayana. So in the Ramayana, these extraordinary activities are described. The Lord breaking the bow, Haradhanus, and the Lord marrying Sita, the Lord going to the forest under the plea of some order of his father. What is the order of his father? That his father wanted to coronate him as the king, but as I mentioned, that his youngest queen, to whom he was very much attached, Dasharatha Maharaj had 3 queens, so he was attached too much to the youngest queen. And this youngest queen, Kaikeyi, she, on the day of the coronation, she was reminded by her maidservant that she has got 2 boons, special boons from the king, Dasharatha. So this Manthara, she thought, why should the son of the queen, Kausalya, why should he become the king? Why not the queen of my mistress, Kaikeyi? Why not Bharata become the king of Ayodhya? So she thought that Bharat should become the king, and therefore she instigated this Kaikeyi to actually ask for this boon from Dasharatha. Dasharatha had promised to give 2 boons when Kaikeyi saved him at a particular time when he was engaged in some battle. So Dasharatha was very pleased with Kaikeyi and he said, I'll give you 2 boons. She said, I will not take the boons now, but I'll take later. Being an intelligent lady, she thought that what is the use of asking the boon now when I am not in need. So when in need, I will ask. So this Manthara, she remembered, and at the time of the coronation of Rama, she is reminding Kaikeyi that you have 2 boons, you should ask from the emperor. So Kaikeyi said, what boons? Oh, then she reminded, oh, I've got 2 boons, okay. So what's the need for asking for any boon now? No, now you should ask because Rama is going to become the king, not your son. So Kaikeyi was not very inclined to displace Rama with her son Bharata. But this Manthara, she somehow convinced Kaikeyi, against her own wish, she convinced, no, you should be the mother of this wonderful son Bharata. if you don't act for his interest, who will act for his interest? Other than the mother, nobody else will have the supreme self-interest of the son. Somebody, mother has the topmost interest. So somehow Manthara convinced this Kaikeyi to ask a boon that Bharata should be coronated as the king. That's all right, Bharata can be coronated as the king, that boon she can ask. But what about the second boon? Oh, she said, oh, Rama may not allow, because now everybody is talking about Rama becoming the king. Then Rama may actually overthrow Bharata by using the army against your own son. So in order to secure Bharata's position as the king, even if he is coronated as a king, to secure his position, send away Rama to the forest without the army. 14 years. By that time, Manthara was thinking that Bharata will consolidate his power, and then after 14 years, even if Rama comes back, he will be powerless. So this was a design. Now all this is called Ram Leela. That means it is enactment of a pastime of the Lord for the sake of giving pleasure to his devotees. It is not that the Lord was cheated or the Lord was, had to undertake some austerity in the forest. Even is going to the forest when he was about to be coronated as king, simply on the order of his father. Now, following the order of his father, is going to the forest is a display of his opulence called renunciation. The Lord is the master of renunciation. So many people display renunciation in this world. They take sannyas, big kings. They take sannyas. They go into the forest. And people praise, oh, he was such a powerful king, he was having so much of wealth, he was having so much of power, he had his treasury, everything he gave up into the forest. Or some big powerful rishi or brahmana, so much of knowledge, so much of tapasya he has done, he's got so much of yogic power, he gives up all that and he accepts sannyas. So big people, they display power of renunciation, but ultimately the master of this power of renunciation is Krishna, or the Supreme Lord Narayana, or Vasudeva. God is the power of renunciation, master of the power of renunciation. So he displayed, the day he was supposed to be the coronated as the king, he simply left everything and went away, walked away to the forest. Empty-handed he turned away to the forest. But on the request of his brother Lakshmana and his wife Sita, he agreed that they will accompany him. Otherwise he was planning to go alone. He was planning to go alone. But on the request of his brother and his wife, he agreed that they may accompany him, not anybody else. So they also went, and there also in the forest he performed wonderful pastimes. In the forest, some quarrel with Ravana. Ravana actually had so many demoniac associates, Rakshasas. They are man-eaters. They eat human flesh. The demons, they are accustomed to eating flesh. But even among the demons, the most degraded demons are called Rakshasas. Demons are generally called Asuras. Asuras means they are materialistic, they want to enjoy. But among the demons, these Rakshasas, they are cannibals. Means they will kill human beings and enjoy eating human flesh. Very, very low class. Very degraded. In Africa, even now there are some tribals. They are having this Rakshasa mentality. So they kill human beings and they eat the flesh, human flesh. So this Ravana was one such Rakshasa. And he had these Rakshasa associates. So they used to create so much of disturbance on this earth especially. And they used to disturb the saintly persons. So Rama, along with Lakshmana, while being in the forest, they killed many of these Rakshasa associates of Rama. Therefore, Ravana became an enemy of Rama. Ravana became an enemy of Rama. Rama has no enmity with anybody. He is the Lord, Supreme Lord. How can he have an enemy? But Ravana became the enemy because Rama was protecting the saintly persons. Disturbance due to this Rakshasas were completely stopped by Rama simply by using his bow and arrow. This invincible bow, Rama Bana, it's never going to fail. The arrow from this bow will never fail because it is the Supreme Lord who has come as Ramachandra. People used to think, foolish people think, when the Lord comes in incarnation, his power is limited. But actually he is the Lord of unlimited power. So he displayed this unlimited power. Every time he used his bow and arrow, it was unfailing. Unfailing. So he displayed different pastimes using his bow and arrow. He delivered 7 trees which were cursed, which were some devatas who were cursed to become trees. Simply one arrow he shot and it pierced all the 7 trees and they were all delivered. So like this, the Lord performed so many. He killed Vali hiding behind a tree. Hiding behind a tree he killed Vali, who had usurped the power of his brother Sugriva. So Rama killed Vali. Now the important point is, when the Lord kills, it is not actually killing, but actually it is deliverance. It is purification. The one who is killed by the Lord, the person killed by the Lord, becomes purified of all sinful reactions and gets liberation. There is a special thing about killing of the Lord. When the Lord personal form he kills, he appears in his personal form and he kills, then the person who is killed is delivered, is liberated. So the 7 trees, they were liberated. Vali was liberated. Ravana was liberated. All the demons whom the Lord killed in his form as Rama and Lakshmana, all of them were liberated. So therefore we say Ram Leela, pastime of the Lord. Killing also is a pastime, it's a sport. And he effortlessly kills, not that he has to exert himself to kill these powerful demons. Not that he has to practice some archery and then aim very carefully, and the arrow pierces all the 7 trees. It's not a small thing. But he does it effortlessly, without any difficulty. That's why Leela, effortlessly does it. As a sport, as a sport he does it. But that sporting also results in deliverance, liberation of the person who is killed. So killing is not actually killing, but actually it is liberation. So therefore the Lord's activities are extraordinary. Here is also mentioned that when he came to the ocean, Lord Rama came to the ocean, he glanced at the ocean, and the entire ocean temperature increased. And how much did the temperature increase? The temperature increased to such an extent that all the aquatics, elsewhere it is mentioned that the number of aquatics is 9 times more than the number of living beings on the land. For every living entity on the land, the number of aquatics is 9 times in this earth planet. So many aquatics are there in the ocean. All of them became disturbed by the increase of temperature of the entire ocean. So who can do this? Simply by glancing at the ocean with red hot eyes, with anger, displaying anger. Only the Supreme Lord can do this. And the ocean, controller of the ocean, he came immediately, ocean personified, Samudra Devata, and he begged forgiveness from Lord Ramachandra, saying that we are dull-headed, that we are not able to recognize you are the Supreme Lord, and therefore we did not receive you properly, we did not worship you, kindly pardon us. So immediately Lord Rama calmed down, gave up his anger. Immediately the ocean became cool. So who can do this? Instantaneously increase the temperature and instantaneously cool the entire ocean. Then the Samudra Devata, he worshipped Lord Ramachandra and said, I can give you way, because Rama had to cross the ocean to go to Lanka to kill this Ravana, to fight against Ravana. So he could have made way, but he said,